We are live. Happy Friday, gang. Checking connection on Instagram. I believe you can do it. I have some trust in you. I think you can do it. You're gonna need a charger. Welcome, Instagram. Now, today is a special day. We're going to be talking all things how to make friends, influence people, and find love. If you've got any questions, this is the place to bring them. So, in beginning with this, I want to bring a model into the ideas of open close. So, the model I want to share with you guys, welcome, Marcos, James. I want to invite you guys to join me on camera and share your question of what you want to know about creating friends, influencing people, finding love. So say yes, and I would love to answer your question. While I give us the open close concept from Todd V. So the idea of the open close is that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Okay. When you meet someone, you want to know that there's 2 axes for connection, right? There is the horizontal for the development. I want to learn floating like you. Awesome. Ask a question. Come on stage, Marcos. I'd love to see you. I told you we're here. James is unable to join. So the horizontal would be like I open, I establish a premise, I evaluate the person, I develop a narrative, which is like the storyline between who we are together, and then I close. We'll dive deeper into that. But essentially, it's like, hey, I haven't met you yet. I want to meet you, right? That's the open, right? Premise is, it's like, what's the dynamic between us? Like, right? I think you're kind of cute, right? It's premise. Evaluate is like, you want to discern, is this person somebody that meets what your desires are, right? Like, so a way to kind of like put these two together. It's like, do you live around here or are you just visiting, right? Or putting them together, like, I don't know, part of me likes you, part of me hates you. Part of me loves you, part of you hates you. So it's like I'm still evaluating if I'm going to be closer to you. And this is like a really great concept to think about is when meeting someone you're interested in bringing into your life, it's like you're saying, I have a job for hire, but it doesn't mean that you got the job, right? It's like, I have an idea. I have this position, but maybe you're going to get it, right? So that's the evaluation. Then the narrative is kind of like, think about this. Whenever anybody walks away from you and they go to talk to somebody else, they're going to say, what was it like with that person, right? So what's the story that they're going to tell to describe their connection to you? That's the narrative, right? Did you like hate each other at first and then suddenly you were like, actually, this person's kind of fun? Was it just always, oh, they were just so nice and we just really got along really well, and then maybe I'll talk to them? Nah, right? So, and close is ask for the number, go for the kiss, have sex, get a number. All right. Welcome, Jody. So that's the horizontal axis. Let's call this the plot line, right? Then we also have the vertical axis, which is going to be the vibe, right? The presence. What presence? So if you have questions, Jody or Marcos or James, let me know and we can bring you on stage. Presence as well as, let's see, I want to put vertical. So meeting somebody, establishing the premise, deciding if they're someone you like. That's all this part. All right, we have a guest. And then the vibe, the presence is like, what's your energy? What's your emotional connection? Jody, I think I see Perazza. Welcome, Twisted Roots. I think Jody's joining us right now and her camera is loading. So once you've opened, you said, hey, you seem interesting. Oh, actually, you established the premise. You're like, part of me loves me, part of me loves you, and part of me hates you. Right? Establishing the premise of like the relationship between you. And then evaluating, deciding if this is someone you want to talk to or not. And then narrative, right? Knowing what's the storyline between you and that person. Finally asking for a way to connect deeper. So if you've got questions, all these wonderful people here, I want to hear them. So I'm going to invite all of you to come on stage, say yes, and you can join. We can answer your questions, whether it's about making friends, influencing people, finding love, with business. What answers can I share with you to create that connection? I've just invited 3 people on stage. I've got YouTube, Instagram right now. Okay, questions being written. Seems like maybe the internet's not working to bring her up. I'm making an outreach for a client. Oh, you have to flip your camera around, Jody.
Well, I'm having trouble doing it. There we go.
Is there a flip button for us to see your face?
Yeah, but my keyboard's in front of it.
In front of your face? Oh, there. There she is. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Fabulous. Happy to have you here. So what's your question?
So I was recently introduced to a client through a group text.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if you could share some input on moving forward with booking them for a session.
For booking them for a session. So you have a service and you're going to offer that for this person that's been like a referral to you through group text.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, welcome Deepika, welcome Fidi Falcon, mentor, Mr. Soleil. And so with that, how do I get laid with more men through prayer and connection? All these great questions coming in. We got great questions. So for Jody's question, I want to build a connection with somebody that was just introduced to me. And so let me check with the YouTube. And so what I like to do in that situation is acknowledge the person who just introduced us in the group text and highlight, like, it's really important or it's really valuable or special to me that you would introduce me to someone in your circle. So kind of like reiterating on the, like, it's a special thing that we've just been connected. So that this person who reads it is going to go, oh yeah, they're going to remember that it requires trust to connect us. And then just say inside that, like, I'll jump on a quick call with you to schedule a time for us to talk about your situation. And then send that text. And then I would just call that person right away. If they don't answer, then I could send them a text that's like saying exactly, welcome TJ. I would send them a text exactly towards like saying, you know, like, hey, there must be some kind of reason that we were connected. So let's follow that through and see what energy is there for us. Here, would you like me to send you my calendar? And so again, inside that text, I'm acknowledging what is the special synchronicity. What's the reason that we were meant to connect? Kind of, again, accenting that with enthusiasm. And then getting their enrollment. I could just give them the calendar and ask them for the calendar. For me, I found it just puts one little step of energy for them to invest in you. If they're just like, yeah, sure, send it through. Then it's this idea of like permission-based marketing. It's, for me, I found that where there's at least one action taken by that person, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to be a quality lead at that point.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I like the personal touches you're adding with acknowledging gratitude for the connection and the multi-step process to move forward.
Yeah, totally. Play with it. Let me know how that goes.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming up and sharing a question. Who else has a question? There's 2 people here. Twisted Roots Recordings. What's your question, my friend? What would you like to know for finding love, influencing people, making friends? I have a question from Soleil. How do I get laid with more men through prayer and connection? So this is one of my friends, and I'm going to answer this question in one way. I'll say, like, if you want to get laid in general, whether it's man or woman, he's talking about prayer and connection as a way to create the vibe. I see prayer as a mechanism. It's a way of garnering all of your visual, your verbal, and your physical energies into one focus. Welcome, Grum. I'm going to invite you up on stage, Greg. Share a question with us. And whether it's about charisma or dating. And so prayer and connection, prayer being this tool to create a deeper bond with yourself, with some greater force than you yourself as well, and aligning those two towards what you want, right? So if it's to create a connection with somebody, to get laid, as you just asked, I find embracing what I appreciate about that moment, adding in a spice of opposites, right? So if something is wonderful, someone's like, I'm going for my birthday party today to celebrate at like actually going to be like a wedding rehearsal party. I heard this from a girl today. And I'm going to go, we're going to, and convenient is all my favorite people are already going to be there. And I was like, ugh, that sounds horrible. I'd rather be like at a water park on my birthday. Whee! And so she's like, feeling this like opposites idea where you're like, normally people are like, oh, that's so amazing, I'm so happy for you, which is nothing wrong with it. But if you want to create a little tension, this spice, you're like rejecting the thing that is obviously great. So she knows that you're being playful, and it allows that person to then be able to play with you, because connection itself, as we said, there's a plot line, this horizontal development from strangers to something deeper. And then there's this energetic present, like a vertical plot line, which is us elevating, right? Rising up, feeling happy and enjoying each other, or going down and feeling depressed. So playing with that energy, where you spike it to go like, ew, because it's something that's bad, that thing is actually going to naturally come back up because they believe it's up here. You can't remove it for that person when they know that it's something they love. So playing with that energy up and down is what creates this kind of like aliveness inside of someone's body. You know this. You've heard a flirt before, right? You've heard someone flirt, someone say something where they allow themselves to be playful, because as soon as somebody else is like I don't know about you, something going on, you seem like trouble. If it's, you'll feel a little bit of like you like that person, it's gonna be like, ha ha ha, yeah, I am trouble, right? There's this playground feeling, right? Just same thing that when you're playing somebody with like Thumb Wars, or the game where you want to slap the hand, you're feeling that like energy of like ha ha. That's what you're going for when you're doing this, like this push and pull for teasing and flirting. And to go even deeper in this, the question that was asked before, if there's any other questions, people who are already here, feel free to welcome. Jody's here. If I want to create the deeper connection really quick and get beyond like surface level talk, I want to go straight in with like this you can have a very penetrating presence, right? Where you see someone, and right away, as I see the person, it's like the same thing as where you can have your eyes gaze, your eyes are relaxed, and it's like you can see the periphery, right? You can see everything in the room. Do this right now. Relax your eyes, you see everything. And then focus your eyes and you see one specific thing in front of you. And then relax your eyes. So you see the periphery, you see everything in the room, and then focus the eyes completely on what's right in front of you. Like you delete everything else and you just have one object in your vision. So that type of vision is what I'll have as I'm walking around, and somebody that catches my eye, I feel that, and I can feel this tension inside of my body, like a kinetic, magnetic presence, right? I breathe that in. It's like I'm purifying the tension with my breath, and it allows me to create a deeper connection. My prayer, I set that off at the beginning, my intention. I set that off of like, okay, I'm going out today. I'm gonna go and what is it? Whether it's I want to get paid, I want to get laid, I want to have fun, I want to play a game and mess with people. Like, what is your intention, right? Like, one time I went out to the park and I was like, I just want to go out to the park and I want to move. I've been sitting in front of my computer for 7 hours. All I want to do is just go shake, roll around, dance. Maybe I'll roll down a hill. I just want to go move my body. And I started walking to the park, and I was like walking by 2 different groups of people. I was like, oh, maybe I could talk to them. And I was like, nah. And I didn't feel this urge, this excitement to go into that group. And as I'm walking, I walk by a tree and there's a woman laying in a hammock, right? And as I walk by, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll talk to her. I don't know. And the moment that I get right next to the hammock, something within me just was like, hey, are you like sitting in the hammock floating, or are you just sitting on the ground? Because it was like practically touching the ground. And the question just like came out of nowhere. I had no plan as I walked up. It wasn't like, all right, I'm going to say this as my way to open the conversation. I believe that was because I had my prayer, my intention set. And when I walk by a person who's literally like suspended in air, they are a representation of my prayer, right? They are movement. I just naturally engage with that. And it's turned into like a 10-minute conversation. We became friends on Instagram. And she was like, yeah, my company would love to have you come and facilitate an event, right? How cool is that? Like the connection, boom, was really, really rewarding for everybody involved. Which is like, wow, you made my day. All because I had this intention. And then as I was walking, I was breathing in, welcoming the tension that was there. And that created an open heart and an ease in connecting to people rather than a like contracted, I hope this person will like me. I don't know what do I say is the right thing for this person to like me? And all of this headiness and the close heart, it just creates this like resistance, you know? And it's brought this really fun idea I actually want to talk to you guys about. This idea is from the book, The Untethered Soul. Anybody seen that? Yeah, so Untethered Soul talks about this is the person, and let's say they're walking through the forest and they get hit by like a bush with a big thorn. So now they have this like big thorn on their sides, and everywhere they go, they are walking around and they're afraid to like bump into people because they're gonna have to like poke them. So they're afraid not to poke people. In order to do that, they like keep people at a distance and they walk away, and eventually they make all their decisions on like, I don't want to poke this person. I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna have to like change the way I sleep so that I don't hurt the bed, and I'm gonna not go certain places because I can't get in with this thing. If I go to the forest, I'm gonna have to like cut the brush around me so that I can actually walk through and not get stuck on it. And this is the same way that we walk around with internal thorns. So these internal thorns that we have, welcome, Dorian. I'd love to answer a question. If you have one, jump on with us. These internal thorns that we have of, right, will this person like me, or how do I say the right thing, right? Am I interrupting them by talking to them? These inner thorns are the same things that we walk around as we meet people in the world. Where, because we have this thing We walk around, we see a person like, maybe I can't talk to those people because I'm not going to say the right thing. And then we see somebody else and we're like, what if they don't like me? And this thorn stops us from talking to that person. So what do? We create like a device to wrap it around so it doesn't hurt someone when we're there, right? For example, it's like, I'm only going to talk to people if I meet them at a meetup. Or one guy I worked with, he was like, I only ever meet a woman for like possible like romance or even make friends when I go to workshops or classes. Like it's the only way that I meet somebody. So knowing that, it's extremely limiting, right? If that's all that you can do, then you realize that you'll never have the opportunity to just see somebody at the grocery store, at the park, when you're walking on the street, when you're in line at the restaurant, right? All these incredible people are opportunities that you'll never have access to unless they're in a workshop, right? So we built this device that allows us to get through life and say, see, look, no, I fixed my problem. I just have to go to these places and then I can meet people. And why build this contraption around this whole problem rather than letting go of the thorn and never having to actually deal with it at all? Well, it brings up the question, how do I let go, right? If I have this thorn, how do I let go of this thorn? First step to purifying that tension is to not identify like I am afraid of being rejected. No. It's like, okay, can I step back into the seat of consciousness, right? Can I step back over here and say, I can notice that there's this thought, there's this thorn coming in, right? So you step away from it, you disidentify. Now, I just breathe in and look up with your eyes and relax your heart. As you do that, just tell like, I let go of this. Like this is just another thing, right? There's many more to come. Many more thoughts are going to show up. Many more emotions are going to arrive. This takes practice. You won't just be like, I got it, right? You'll notice it once, be like, oh, cool, I'm doing the thing. I have choice right now. Wow. And then we'll fall back, right? But the intention is repetitions make this more familiar than the thorn. And now the seat of consciousness sits here and we're far more free. There was a 3-phase formula I wanted to play with for you guys. Where did I write this brilliant piece down at? I took a picture, I think. So what I want you to do is let's play the seat of consciousness game right now. So the seat of consciousness game goes, I want you to say this phrase, repeat after me, say this phrase, and it's like you're taking that seat of consciousness so that you can witness that's how the reality is. Okay, so you're going to just repeat the phrase that I share. As you repeat the phrase, welcome, Ashley. If you'd like to ask a question, I'm inviting you up. See what you'd like to share. So to take this seat of consciousness and this freedom from being attached to like a thought that's controlling you and stopping you from feeling connection, what you're going to do is you're going to repeat the phrase that I say and really track how you feel physically and emotionally and what ideas and thoughts come up after you say the phrase. You say the phrase, notice for like 5 seconds what's there, say the phrase again, and check again what's coming up, what's there. Okay? So let's start with a phrase. You seem interesting, right? I'll start with this one. So you seem interesting. You seem interesting, right? Repeat after me and just feel in your body when you're saying that with someone or something even. Like, I'm walking and I see gymnastics rings hanging from a rafters, right? So it's a person or a thing. And you're like, you seem interesting. You seem interesting. One more round. You seem interesting. Check for yourself how you feel energetically, if you're really with it or not, okay? Because what you're doing is you want to check in and see how your tone of voice changes the whole way you say it. Like, I'm like, you seem interesting. It's a lot different than you seem interesting. Whoa, you seem interesting. You seem interesting, right? They have totally different presence and feelings. Let's go to another phase, which is, I like you, but I'm not so sure. So try that out. I like you, but I'm not so sure. Huh. It's like, I like you, but a part of me is like, I'm not so sure. It's like I'm on my back foot, right? It's like, I like you, but I'm not so sure. It's kind of like there's a teeter-totter. I like you, front foot. I'm not so sure though, back foot. Ooh, ooh, notice that feeling in your body, like, right? This is what another person and you always feel when you're meeting somebody. If you let yourself get overwhelmed with like, oh, they look beautiful, that's all that matters, right? Or they have status, that's all that matters. Like, you don't have your own standards at that point. Your standard is just one-sided. That's really not going to serve you in the long run. It's just going to, maybe you'll get the connection, but honestly, in my experience, when I do that, I put somebody on a pedestal, right? And then it's hard to connect to that person. And even for them, it's hard to connect to me because there's too much admiration, that an infatuation. There's not enough of like a equal ground to just enjoy interaction. There's like someone has to be giving and someone has to be taking. So that's a really like dangerous place that you want to go. So like, I like you, but I'm not so sure. It's a really fun game to play with yourself where it's like, oh, you're kind of cool, but I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about you because, you know, this getup, this fit you got going on, it's telling me to be careful. Like, I don't know, you got all black. Like, I'm worried you might stab me, but at the same time, you could just be a super productive person that just doesn't want to decide and think about clothing. So notice the playfulness. I even laugh at myself when I say this because I relate choosing black a lot. So that person's going to get hit by a possible commonality, something between you all that creates beautiful connection, because now it's like, oh, we both like wearing black because it's efficient for our amount of decisions we make in a day. And at the same time, we could look like we're murderers because we just are always concealing, right? So that's the, I like you and I'm not so sure. And then like the third piece would be like, okay, fine, you won me over. Okay, fine, you won me over. Okay, fine, you won me over. This is really fun because it's like saying like, okay, you got me, versus like, did I get you? Did I win you over? It's like, okay, you won me over. You won. That other person now gets to feel the win-win situation versus like, I gotcha, haha, gotcha, bitch. Like, that is not the way to create a heart-to-heart connection that's going to have any kind of potential for romance or business. So knowing this, it's okay, you won me over. It's like, okay, I guess I'll take your number. Okay, I guess I'll schedule a sales call with you. All right, you won me over. You seem like you're somebody who's going to take this seriously and actually like show up to the call, right? Mm-hmm. Next up, what questions do you got? Hey, Lee's here. Lee, ask a question, man. I'd love to hear a question you have for making friends, influencing people, finding a romance, and we can answer that. Come on over. I'm going to invite you on stage. Ask a question for how you would like to work with your influence. They declined. All right. We're going to move on. So we'll go to this idea of evaluation, which is really all about the idea of qualifying or disqualifying somebody. Like, do they match what you love and want, or are they not your vibe, not your person? So when it comes to this idea of qualification or disqualification, you're really saying, wow, I see what I offer to other people in the world as well as myself as a blessing. Like, just your presence alone is a gift for people because you inspire them, because you inspire yourself, right? You have that alignment. It takes work, right? So if you're aware of that, then you don't want to just let everybody come in and take your energy because you'd be run dry, right? There's a lot of vampires or leeches out there. So you have questions that you naturally ask people to see if the two of you resonate, right? If you have similar interests and purposes so that you would be able to help each other rise. If that's the case, then in order to allow yourself to filter out people that don't match what you are, you want to qualify or disqualify. What does that sound like in an interaction? Qualification questions are things, could be as simple as wait. Do you live around here or where do you live? Like, my tone of voice is what makes that qualification, right? Because it's like, if you live far away, I don't know if this is going to work out, right? That's a disqualification. I don't know if this is going to work out. Did you hear this on like some sales experts? I'll be like, I don't know if I can help you, but let's ask some questions and see if something's here. They're immediately like softening the sale by saying something like that. Then you realize like, okay, so this person's not like, all right, I know I can help you, and you just gotta like tell me what's going on with your business. I can totally help you. It's like, wow, whoa, like you don't even know who I am, what I got going on. It's like going up to a girl and just being like you're the one. All right, let's go on a date. They're like, what? You don't even know anything about me, man. How are you making that decision? So we need these questions to create much more like connection rather than flaking. Like, someone might give you their phone number, which is very common, just to make it go away. Like, sure, I'm just gonna ignore you, right? But getting a number does not mean anything. You'll see a lot of a lot of coaches for charisma that just like, look how many numbers I got, and it's like, well, how many of those actually turned into a connection versus a ghost? Well, that's something to be thinking about. Let's check this camera battery life. We're at 3%. We still got 28 minutes left. How can we get that remedied? Remedied. That's not gonna work. Maybe this way. Oh, I got another cable. I'll be right back with another cable. And we're back. Yeah, we're charging. Okay, now examples of qualification and disqualification are like I've already said. Are you from around here? Please tell me you like to sing. Do you like to dance? Wait. Are you more of a morning person or a nighttime person? Right? Like, that's qualification questions, right? Disqualification would be like, I'm terrible boyfriend material. You'd be way too happy if we were together, and you don't want to be with me. That would be like a playful DQ, but this one would be like, no, wait, I'm just going to use you and throw you away. You don't want to be around me. Get away from me. I'll destroy you in chess. So that's where you can do multiple things all at once, right? You disqualify, like, I'll destroy you. Disqualification. Sexual innuendo. Like, I'll destroy you. I can look up and down. I'll destroy you. And then I transition to a new topic, like in chess. So the person doesn't get like stuck there. They go, you got me. Right? So they're going to feel that aliveness when you do that. Have fun with that. Premise. Let's talk about premise. Now, premise talks about the idea of, is this friends? Is this lovers? Is this clients? Or is this utilitarian, like you need to know directions? What's the premise here, right? If a person walks up and like, yeah, you got $1, like the premise is like that person needs help, right? If the premise is like, oh, I think you're super beautiful, I really like you, that person sees the premise as this person is attracted to you. If the premise is like, I heard what you said about your business on the stage, and I imagine that I could help you. Boom. Now the premise is possible, like business, right? So there's all these different ways that you can establish a premise. And if you don't establish one gets established for you. So I'm like, hey, can I pet your dog? Oh, cool. You seem nice. Yeah. How long you been here for? Where do you live? That's cool. Yeah. I live here for some time too. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty nice day we're having, right? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. You like, what do you do? There's no premise, right? The conversation itself is just meandering towards like Nowhereville. And so that person is just like, what are we doing here? Just waiting for that moment when the conversation has a pause to be like, okay, it was nice meeting you. I gotta go. And then they walk to proceed and shoot themselves in the face. Like, I've had enough of this, right? So we want to establish a premise before one is just given to us. How do you do this? Be clear in your intention. Why are you talking to that person? Be open about it. There's an art to how you approach somebody and give the connection an initiation, right? You kind of just have a direct approach. You're like, oh my God, you're the one. I found you. I'm going to tell my mom. I'm going to call her right now. Mom, I found her. Yeah. She's already pregnant. Right? You can have this direct approach, and I'm being playful with it. You make it 10x, and so it's just ridiculous that the person can laugh about it. And then you can be more artistic with your connection of like, I noticed you and you have the most interesting look. It's like you're coy, but at the same time artistic. I have to say, like, I'm a little intrigued as well as a little bit scared, right? It's like, whoa, there's so many different things going on there. He's talking about my look and how there's these opposing styles of it. And then he's talking about how he feels. And also this like opposition and this feeling around me. There's so much to figure out here right now. So you can create this more artistic way to start the connection. And then it just becomes more of that, like, I like you, but I'm not so sure. I'm still determining if I want to have you in my life. That's where you want to be, right? It's the idea of being the buyer rather than the seller. Like, you're not trying to like offer yourself and be the right thing for them. That's where these thorns come in, where you're like, I gotta hope that this person will like me. And all these thorns, these internal thorns, they're things that really impede our joy because we are in the mind rather than being in the heart and with the person in front of us, right? It's so huge. I'm realizing this more and more as I take students out on these boot camps, out into the world, and this is like day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, like go get into that conversation, right? Let's enjoy ourselves and witnessing how our energy can rise and fall with the moment, right? So it's like someone saying, I don't have energy to go out right now. But yet one girl just gives them a cute little like moment of like a smile and a wave. Maybe she even talks to you for a minute, and all of a sudden it's like, well, now I feel excited. I want to be here. Wow. Okay. Right. What's going on there? It's that energy is not just food, stuff in your mouth hole, and it's not just little bitty baby sleeping. Those are sources of energy, but you also have energy centers in your body that, when open, generate tons of energy. You have immense amounts of energy. And when they're closed up and armored because you're worried about someone hurting you and you think there's threats around all the corners, then suddenly you're using the energy to clamp that down, and there's constant pressure for you to keep holding that energy down. That's exhausting. Like with Chachi, came in and out. So let's move this directly into the social environment. How do I get around social environment? Gotta get the other maca. So here's a street. Manuele, Manu. Here's a street with a booth. There's another booth. There's some booth with some music. And here is like the sidewalk on the back, right? So imagine you're at like an event. There's a pathway through the center with all the different people's booths. And there's like the back sidewalk. There's a music and DJ. And it's like, okay, if I want to go through this environment and connect to people, Manu, what question might you have? Please write, or I bring you on stage. And a question you have about making friends, influencing people, or creating a romance from meeting someone on the street. I'd love to answer. So this is a street. There's many events right now in the summertime, especially all around the world. And it's like, okay, people are all walking through the center, trying to find something. They're shopping. They're like, what's this? What's this? Or they're walking back and forth, just kind of staring into the distance, what's happening. And as you're walking here, you could notice, oh, there's so many people, and maybe I want to like get over there to that booth. It's so easy to like suddenly go out of that line and go, oh, it's so easy to walk back here where there's no people, and I can get over to that thing I saw, right? It makes sense. It's like, oh, convenience. Whoop. But what happens when you do that? You break the flow. You exit the flow, the connection of energy and people, and you go into this empty lane so you can, you make speed more important than connection. Whereas if I start walking through here and I'm like, oh, something's over there, got to get there. Wow, what an exciting time, because I got to go through all of this in order to get there. I don't know what I'm going to discover. But now I have an agenda. Now I have a purpose. I have a thing more important to me than anything else. So as I go through, it's comfortable for me to look at people and have that idea of like, oh, part of me likes you, but part of me is not so sure. I'm not fully sold yet. And it's much easier as you're through the crowd to accidentally bump into somebody and be like, oh, hello, you seem interesting. Or makes a joke like, whoa, you're dangerous. Bumping people around, right? And it's natural to create a connection and then meet that person and say, hey, I'm going to see this thing over here. Come check it out with me. Now you have somewhere to take this new friend and bring them to your thing, right? So you'll realize, because you have a purpose in your life, when you meet someone in this flow, it's easy for you to just be like, hey, I'm going to go check this thing out. Come with me. Would you like? You'll have fun. No? Okay. I'm going to be sad you're going to go, but I'm still going to go. It would have been amazing for us to be together, but not right now. Again, enjoying that you have your choices of what's important to you, and it's not like you're putting her on a pedestal as more important to you. This gives her a chance to feel comfortable, to feel normal around you versus like an object. Other things to notice here. As I go through the crowd, the people here, even if I see somebody in the distance, well, let's talk about the eyes. When you walk through this space, how are you using your eyes? If you're walking and then you're looking at every single person and judging, like, you know, I'd fuck, no, I wouldn't. Yes, no, fuck, no, fuck, no, fuck, fuck, no, fuck. Or like money, no money, money, no money. If I'm looking at everybody there and like making this whole quick critical analysis, I have lost all like of my heart, and I'm just there with my like comparing people together. That creates friction. That creates combat versus collaboration. So I shift my eyes, my sphere, to much smaller, like right around me. And I might notice a cute person in the distance, and I'll note it, like, ooh, okay. But I realize for myself, I'm a very social person, and I move around. So I'll find them eventually. So I'm going to just keep enjoying what's right here, celebrating who's right next to me, because that's the best person to have right there. Welcome. I'm going to invite both of you on stage, and you can ask a question for whatever you have when it comes to making friends, influencing people, finding attraction within an environment. And so when I keep my eyes local to just this like 3-foot sphere, it allows me to then meet someone and really be present with them and like, wow, I'm in the right place at the right time right now with this person. And if I did see someone in the distance, I'll allow myself, Armor, welcome. Please share a question in the middle. And I imagine myself like Tarzan, right? Where each person that I meet, it's like I'm going to go, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And they will continue to help me meet more and more people. And I'll even introduce this person to the next person that I talk to. By doing that, it helps me feel like I'm a very social person. It helps me feel like I'm a networker, right? You start to be seen by people like, who is that person? How are they just introducing us, right? One of my favorite opening lines to meet somebody is, we haven't met yet. I'm Keegan, what's your name? And I have this very assuming feeling of like, we haven't met yet. I'm Keegan, what's your name? Ezgi, I want you to come on, ask a question. I'd love to see you. I miss you. And that opener, it creates a really beautiful connection with the person, assuming that like, this is your house party. This is your event. When you walk up to someone, it's like, hey, we haven't met yet. I'm Keegan, what's your name? It really allows that person to soak into that. And I've done that at the park. Like I walk around the park. I'm like, welcome to the park. We haven't met yet. What's your name? Right? That gives me a sense of comfort. And that wherever I am, if I say welcome to people as well, this is really special. If I say welcome to people wherever I am, even if it's I'm at the beach resort and it's not mine, I'm like, welcome to the beach, right? It's as though I'm like the steward of that location. And I suddenly have permission to introduce people to others, to talk to people like, hey, is everything all right? Do you need anything? Huh? Okay. Do you need some good music for a dance party? What do you need a new friend? All right, let's get you a friend. Hey, this is my friend. Now you become this connector, and it's because I'm imagining that I am the steward or the host. So if you're ever thinking like, what's the cheat code to be the most expressive person? One of my favorites is imagining that I am the host of wherever I am. So I'm at a bar, if I'm at the streets, it's really funny, on an airplane at the terminal, I'm like, welcome to the terminal. Do you need anything? I'll be stretching over here. I got 2 headphones, so if you want one, the music is really good. So be careful, you might turn into a dance party, right? again, pushing this push-pull, like part of me likes you, part of me is not so sure. I've got something amazing, but I don't know if you can handle it, right? Like it's never just, you got me, you won me over, until that is the point, until there's been enough of this bounce back and forth, that you can read in this person that they are like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And they're like, I want more, right? They make some kind of comment, they touch you back. These are the kinds of things that let you realize, okay, they have been won over by me. So now I can say, all right, you won me over. I'll take your number. So we've covered a lot of ground right now. Let's do a little review. We spoke about open close, the idea of first starting the conversation, having something to open the person up with, right? Really great ways to do this are opinion openers, like, hey, do you prefer to live in a place for more than a few months or more than a few years, right? That's like opinion opener, right? You can have oranges or grapes. What do you prefer? Serious question, right? Other ways are observational openers. So something you notice. Whoa, black t-shirt. All right. Notice something, right? Like, wow, the way you walk. You have a very elegant yet athletic walk. It's interesting. It's an opening. Premise. The premise is really about you establishing what is the context of this relationship. So if you want to just be right up front, like, hey, you're kind of cute. Like I want to get to know you. Boom, there's a premise established, right? If it's like, hey, you seem like you might be the perfect client. You look just like my other clients that I have. Cool, okay. Now the premise has been established. Evaluation. You want to evaluate the person to see if they are like the right kind of buyer, the right kind of person that you would love to talk to. So you want to qualify or disqualify the person by asking questions like, you do like like I do water therapy, right? I'd be like, are you friends with the water? Do you enjoy the water? Or are you more of like nah, I just like the land, fuck water, right? Or you live around here, right? You live close by? Like my tone of voice makes that question a qualification. Like, because if you don't live around here, then that's a problem, right? Disqualification. Another way to evaluate somebody is like saying like, oh my God, you are totally not my type. Like I don't think we're gonna work out. It's a way of saying like, oh, why would we work out? What would we work out for? It starts to put these questions in someone's mind, right? Like I would destroy you in chess, right? So we put a little sexual innuendo, disqualification, and then transition out of it so the person can feel that tease. We talked about teasing, flirting, being this energy of like part of me loves you, part of me not so sure. Like another more intense for emotional spikes, because we have this horizontal plot line development from strangers to something more, and we have this energetic vertical plot line of the vibe, the presence, the connection. And so I'm spiking that. Teasing is like little bursts of energy for the person to feel more alive or to lay down, right? So it's like, well, you're kind of cute. It's like, I'm kind of, and it's cute. Like, it's not, you didn't say that I'm not cute. You didn't say that I'm ugly, but cute is, or adorable. Like, wow, you're kind of adorable. Like cute and adorable is like something you typically would call a kid, but to call an adult that, it's like there's some little offness to it, right? So that puts the person to feel an energy burst, and then like a bit of like a self-reflection, self-questioning, like, what's going on here? And that's what starts the narrative. And for narrative really means that what's the storyline that this person you're talking to is going to tell their friends when they walk away. Oh yeah, he was a really nice guy. He just was like very kind and polite, and then that was it. Or do you want that to be more about, wow, they came in and it was like intense, positive, fascinating energy, and at the same time, I was like, are we gonna get along? Is this person even like me? And then we started to like vibe, and it was fun. And then they started messing with me, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed that connection, right? So that's where the narrative becomes the same as a movie, right? If the movie was just like boy meets girl, falls in love, and happily ever after, it's like, like boring, right? Instead, it's like boy meets girl, and then dad says you can never have her, and then he has to figure out ways to sneak around the dad and meet the girl, and then eventually confront the dad, and they become friends, and then the girl and him run away and have a beautiful life, and yay, we celebrate because of the struggle. People want to feel that, like, that challenge, that energy of achieving something, right? So that's the narrative. And then the close, play to win. This is really important. You close because you play to win. You connect to somebody because you say to yourself and to this person, I want to meet you. Imagine this. Feel the energy you have from these two approaches that I do. Hey, I like your hair. And then I just walk by, right? Or, hey, I like your hair. Wow, you seem interesting. What's your story? Notice I plant my body and I'm fully in front of you, and I don't want you to walk by me. Like, I don't want to say hi just for saying hi. I want to interrupt whatever like you're doing, because now it's going to be us. That's the connection. I know you were just talking to this thing, and I may acknowledge that, like, excuse me, forgive me for interrupting you. You're on your headphones. I just want to meet you. You seem like somebody I would want to meet. What's your name? Dr. Hanuman. Hey, brother. Long time no see. So this intensity of your presence, right? Not just like saying hi just to get like to say hi and come by, but saying hi because I really want to talk to you. I square up my body with that person. Like, they're not going to just walk past me. This is where you're playing to win. This is where you're creating the connection with somebody because you want it to develop into something. By doing that, the person will feel your presence, feel your energy, rather than, what did that person say to me? Oh, whatever, back to my thing, right? You know this feeling. I imagine anybody watching this right now has had that feeling, either saying it to somebody or on the receiving end when someone's just like, hey, good to see you. And it's like, or they say, hey, how are you? Okay, cool, bye. They don't give a fuck. They don't actually care. They're just like, yo, how are you? It's a lot more powerful. Play with this intense, stepping forward into someone's sphere. You're going to feel that tension that we talked about here, where you may think it's a thorn in your side that's like, oh gosh, what if they don't like me? But if you step out of that, don't identify them not liking me, into the seat of consciousness as the witness, and you see the thought, now you can let it go, allow your eyes to look up, breathe in, and let your heart relax open. And that helps you connect with somebody free from the samskara, free from the impression, free from the agitation, and allow the heart to heart to happen. If you're liking this, give me a thumbs up, give me some love. Who's still watching? Ezgi, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm doing this every Friday. Bring your questions, bring your friends. I'd love to have more of a dialogue to put your personal experiences into this. I'm on YouTube Live as well. So what else to share? Play to win, and you're going to close. Go for the close. Some people are really shy. Some people I don't think like me, and then I keep talking to them. I've even gone for a kiss, and they actually like kiss back. And I'm like, oh, they did like me. But I would have never known if I didn't play to win, if I didn't go in and find out and actually get the no, rather than assume, oh, they must have a boyfriend. Oh, they don't really have money. Like whatever thoughts you're making up, ask the question, lean in, give the chance for somebody to meet you and know what you want. by saying it, by bringing it into the present. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for showing up, everybody. May you have an absolutely brilliant Saturday, Sunday, and it's Friday too. Ciao.